So, this concept of corrective emotional experiences came from the leading couples therapist researcher, Sue Johnson. And in one of her books, she uses this concept and she says it's a training book for therapists. And so, when I was training in this, it said what couples therapists are trying to create in their office between a couple is a corrective emotional experience. And so, right, oftentimes we've had these experiences, and if you think about most of the pains that you've felt in your life, they've been relational pains, right? Obviously, there's physical pains, but when we're talking about emotional, it typically comes from some sort of hurt or loss or betrayal or disappointment or expectations not being met or whatever, right? And so, this concept of corrective emotional experiences, there's a couple ways to go about it, but for this beginning elevation, what I want you to do is I want you to just think of having a positive experience that is almost like the counter of something negative in the past. So you can do two things. You can think of an experience or a situation with this person and just try to anticipate what might this have felt like for them, and maybe there's a situation that you know there's lingering pain and maybe it comes up often, maybe it doesn't. But if you proactively go and say, hey, I know that this in the past, or I know that we're going through this now, but I care about you, is what you're trying to communicate. I love you. I'm here for you. What can I do for you? You're trying to create an experience between you and this person. And it can be a spouse or a friend, a child, whatever it is. It might be something with yourself. But having this interaction, this experience that creates an emotional thing between you that is bonding, that is corrective, okay? Then this idea of connective emotional experiences is similar, but it's these intentional interactions where you're trying to create connection, okay? Sue Johnson also, she has a book, maybe it's a subtitle of a book called Creating Connection, and it's this concept of intentionally interacting. And so yesterday I was talking to a client, and I talked about when I started dating my wife. We'd been friends for a little while, and things started to shift where we started to kind of have eyes for each other and started to flirt. And so I asked her out on a first date, right? And I wanted this to be a really, really good first date, a fun first date. I wanted to have time to talk and get to know her even more, and just to have a good time together. And so, right, I put thought into it. I planned it. Where are we going to go to eat? What activity are we going to do? What are we going to do after, right? Like, I intentionally thought about what I wanted this experience to be like. And so for this elevation, you can also do that. A corrective emotional experience where you address something maybe challenging in the past and you're trying to address it with more compassion, more love, more thought, and you're trying to help heal some of that old pain or whatever, that old situation. This could be as simple as an apology, right? We talked about guilt and shame. So this idea of repairing. Or a connective, which is more kind of positive, right? It's this experience between you and someone else that is uplifting. And so I want you to take some time to think about this and have the courage to intentionally try to have an interaction that uplifts someone you care about, where you and them, I like this concept, you both feel edified. Some of you have heard that concept before, right? You both leave that experience feeling better, feeling close, feeling like that interaction was worthwhile. Okay, if you have questions on this, you can put them in the activity feed. I'd actually love you guys to maybe have a conversation, all of us in the chat, about what we're doing to create connective and connective and corrective emotional experiences with those that we care about. Awesome.